Hi, I'm a local hippie, and today I'm going to be doing a video essay on Jeffrey Eugenides' however that's said correctly. We're going to be doing a video essay on the virgin suicides. So this is probably going to be a two-parter because I don't want my content to be over a certain amount of time. I want it to be as concise as possible, but I find myself also wanting to do the review or video essay for this book justice. So this is probably going to be a two-parter where I break it down into two segments. I have a list of all the things that I want to talk about. To start, I have 4 points, so I'm going to cover 2 topics, 2 points in this video, and then I'm going to do the last 2 in the next video. So point number 1, I'm just kind of going over the synopsis and how accurate I think it is. In a quiet suburb of Detroit, the 5 Lisbon sisters, beautiful, eccentric, and obsessively watched by the neighborhood boys, commit suicide one by one over the course of a single year. As the boys observed them from afar, transfixed, they pieced together the mystery of the family's fatal melancholy. In this hypnotic and unforgettable novel of adolescent love, disquiet, and death, Jeffrey Eugenides evokes the emotion of youth with haunting sensitivity and dark humor and creates a coming-of-age story unlike any of our time. Adapted into a critically acclaimed film by Sofia Coppola, The Virgin Suicides is a modern masterpiece, a lyrical and timeless tale of sex and suicide that transforms and mythologizes suburban middle American life. So my thoughts on the synopsis are that I think it's very accurate to what the book is. Sometimes you get a synopsis or you get a blurb where you read it and you're like, what is this book about? Like, the whole point of a blurb or a synopsis is to let you know what a book is about, let you know what you're getting into. And I think that the blurb on the back of The Virgin Suicides perfectly summarizes what you're jumping into and what this book is about and the topics that you're going to be discussing. And I do talk about the themes and the topics which are discussed in this book in point number 2. So we're going to get to that shortly. But to start, I gave the summary of this book 5 stars because, like I said, I read it and it's not like I was kind of scratching my head as to what the heck this book is. You know, that it was like a bunch of words that just, are glamorous and very polarizing, but not really giving you any insight as to what is actually written on each page of this book. What am I going to get from it? What is the spirit of this book, if you will? What is the meat of this book? You know, I feel like whoever wrote the blurb did a really good job at tackling everything that's covered in this book and tackling each theme and kind of giving it a little bit of time to shine so that the reader knows and can kind of decide whether this is something that they want to read. So with that being said, I'm going to go on to point number 2, which is me just kind of telling you what the themes are of this book. So one theme is longing, another is teen angst, one is isolation, another is obsession, and the last one is death. And those are the only ones that I put down, but a bonus theme in this book you see is grief. And I think the way Jeffrey Eugenides gets into approaching these things in this book is so unique because the book is without a doubt about these Lisbon sisters. I think it's 5 of them. Yeah. The book is about the 5 Lisbon sisters, but you don't get their perspective at all in this book. You're kind of watching them as if it's a movie. Something about this book is theatrical because it's told, these themes are analyzed and expressed through the eyes of the boys who are watching these Lisbon girls and through the reflections of the people that knew them, including their parents. And I just think that Jeffrey Eugenides did such a good job of bringing these themes to the table and assessing them, analyzing them, and working them, really threading them through the seams of this story to make it a complete whole. And that wasn't a perspective that I had when I read this book the first time, because this is my 3rd time reading this book. The first time I read it completely. The second time I DNF'd it. And this time I've read it again to completion, and my rating is the highest it's ever been for this book. I think the first time I read this book, I rated it like 3 stars. I thought it was really boring because I didn't really understand it. I think I was like 18. Yeah, 18 or 19 when I first read this book, and I wasn't that big of a reader back then. And in my sort of backlog of what I had read before and the types of books I had read before wasn't anywhere near as well versed as it is now. At 27, I was about to say at 26, but at 27. And so I have a whole new appreciation for this book at 27, and having read so many different types of books, from classics to romances to nonfiction to fiction to women's fiction to thrillers, horror. I've read a pretty vast range of literature, and it's helped me to look at reading in a different light, in a way that I didn't see it before when I was younger. And so that experience has lent me an appreciation for this book that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And I can't express enough how well I think Jeffrey Eugenides did with these themes in this book and how he handled them with care and precision. I just really, really enjoyed that. And in the next 2 points, I'm going to get into not only why I think these themes worked in this book, but also why I think the book as a whole worked. So come back for part number 2. I'll see you when I see you.